Hi, and welcome to Comedy Recapped. Today we will be examining 1992's Meatballs 4. They made another one of those?! Oh well. Beware, spoilers ahead. As the sun rises over the lake, we see Lakeside Water Ski Camp, and there is a group of camp counselors standing in the middle of the road. Suddenly, the silence is broken by a school bus that is careening down the hilly roads. Eventually, it smashes through the camp's sign, and the driver spits out the window as it's shown that she arrived right on time to the second. Then, campers exit the bus and line up as Neil tells Kelly that there used to be so many more people arriving for camp. He blames MTV for the lack of attendees. As the new people come off of the bus, the counselors grade them by their coolness. Things seem to be going well until Victor gets off. Everyone ends up getting splashed with a trough of water, and Neil tries to move on with the festivities. Neil introduces himself, and he tells everyone to hit the showers. He promises all of the kids that these last 2 weeks of summer are going to be fantastic. After that, the counselors go around and tell the kids their cabin assignments, and the fun starts immediately. Some of the boys watch as the girls head for the showers, and they decide to keep a close eye on them as they flash all of the guys. Victor introduces himself to Wes and Howie as their bunkmates, and he tells them that this is his first time away from home. Wes asks Victor if he'd like to join him and Howie in peeking on the girls' shower, and they end up using him as a footstool. Later on, Neil talks to the counselors about the financial issues the camp has to deal with, and he tells them that Jonathan leaving the ranks has made it hard on the camp. Back outside, Victor is startled by a skunk, and Wes and Howie end up leaping into the girls' shower to rinse off the skunk spray. Back at the meeting, Neil tells the counselors that the new director is going to be Ricky, and everyone's a little shocked at the news. Neil tells them that Ricky is responsible for doubling the attendance at other camps, and he hopes that he can do the same thing here. Just then, a plane can be heard flying overhead, and everyone rushes to the lake to watch someone skydive out of the plane. It turns out to be Ricky, and he says hello to everyone as he hits the shore. Ricky tells the kids that he wants them to get it on and enjoy themselves, and everyone suits up to enjoy the lake. After a while, Kelly asks Neil why he had to bring Ricky back of all people, and Neil tells her that this is the only way to make sure that the camp survives. After talking to Kelly, Neil talks to Ricky about getting the kids ready for the meet in a week, and Ricky assures him that he'll have them ready for the competition. Just then, businessmen show up at the lodge, and Monica goes inside to talk to Neil about buying him out so she can build her dream golf resort. She offers him $500,000 in cash, but Neil refuses to sell to her. After that, he shows her to the door, and she tells him that she hopes he reconsiders her offer. That night, Neil welcomes everyone to the clubhouse, and everyone is having a rip-roaring time. Eventually, Ricky shows up and starts to put on a show for everyone on the stage, and everyone takes notice of his awesome dancing skills. Once he's done, Ricky addresses the crowd, and he points out some of Neil's accomplishments. Then he tells everyone that he's holding auditions for the water competition against Twin Oaks. He reminds them that the audition is not mandatory, but he tells them about how it feels to watch your competition lose as a way to bring people out. As the party goes on, Wes makes his way around and introduces himself to Jennifer, and Victor spots Hillary from across the room. He finally musters up enough courage to go talk to her. But Howie trips him when he gets to the table. Hillary rushes off as her drink spills on her, and Victor is left alone. Meanwhile, Ricky talks to Neil about how his meeting with Monica went, and he assures him that business will pick up after they win the meet. Outside, Kelly is making out with her boyfriend, but she's got her mind on Ricky. He picks up on that and leaves her there. Outside, Ricky spots Victor pouting, and he tries to see what's wrong with him. Victor tells him about all the mess-ups he's had in one day, and Ricky tries to make light of it to make him feel better. By the lake, Wes and Jennifer are making out, and things start to get a little steamy. At the same time, Ricky and Victor take a walk by the lake, and Victor tells him that he came here to get a girl or to make some friends. Victor grabs a rock by the totem pole, and the whole thing falls. Thanks to that, the pole hits the trough again, and water splashes all over Jennifer and Wes. After that, Ricky heads to Bungalow 2, and he finds out that this is also Kyle's bungalow. Ricky lets him release some of his steam, but all in all, it comes down to Kyle pointing out that Kelly is his now. In the morning, Neil wakes up the camp with a fire drill and water hoses, and the campers rush out in their skivvies. After their wake-up call, the campers head to the lake to audition for the ski team. Ricky gives all of them lessons on how to handle things, and Wes proves to be better than most when it comes to water skiing. Victor even finds his groove with a jet ski. Everyone ends up improving over time, and the counselors think they might have a chance in winning this year's meet. One night, Ricky convinces everyone to play strip charades. During the game, Victor splashes another drink on Hillary, and he chases after her to check on her. She rushes to the showers, and Victor watches her through the door. Victor thanks the heavens for this chance, and back at the fire, Kyle challenges Ricky to a game of chicken. Ricky accepts the challenge, and they head out onto the lake to start. After they take their sides, Jennifer blows the horn, and they race towards each other. Of course, Kyle bails, and Ricky rubs it in a little bit. The next day, Neil watches as Ricky water skis, and he tells him to try his old trick out. Ricky ends up just missing the mark, and he eventually comes up to the beach to sit with Neil. Ricky keeps telling Neil that he's the only one that has ever been able to pull off that trick, but Neil knows that Ricky can do it if he takes things more seriously. Now it's time for the water sports meet. They start with the team events, and Ricky gives them a simple motivational speech. Everything starts off just fine, and Kelly starts off scoring really well for Lakeside Camp. When it comes time for Victor's showing, he ends up trying the ramp, but it doesn't work out as well as he had hoped. Monica watches from the sidelines as they enter the final event, and Ricky's team is actually in the lead for now. Now it comes down to Ricky and the other team's director. Ricky's opponent does a great job, and they end up being in the lead now. When it comes time for Ricky's run, Kyle tries to mess him up, but they wind up winning by less than a full point anyways. When they get back to the dock, Ricky tells Kyle that he's fired, and Kelly thinks that Ricky did this just to hurt her. Later on, Monica gives her goons a mission to make Neil want to sell, and they leave to make Neil's campers' lives miserable, so they'll ask for a refund. Back at camp, Jennifer checks on Kelly, and Kelly opens up about how upset she is with Kyle because he called everyone at the camp a loser. Jennifer admits that she's not happy about how Wes treats Victor either, and she asks why Ricky left Kelly in the first place. Kelly still doesn't know why, and she tells Jennifer that he never said a word on the day he left her. Elsewhere, Monica's goons start causing trouble for the camp, and the campers start to leave and ask for refunds. One evening, Victor decides to try and talk to Hillary, and he apologizes for all of the problems he's caused with his mistakes. After hearing this, she decides that he isn't as bad as she had thought, but Howie doesn't like him making moves on Hillary. Wes tells Howie he has a plan to get at Victor, though. Outside, Ricky talks with Kelly, and she makes sure that he knows about how she feels about him popping back up. Ricky finally explains that he left her because he was scared that he wasn't good enough for her. They end up kissing, but suddenly, Neil calls for her. The two of them rush back to the lodge, and he tells them that he's closing the camp in the morning. Kelly stays with Neil, and Ricky steps out for a moment. Victor comes over to see how he's doing, but Ricky spots Monica's goons trying to disappear nearby. Ricky and Victor follow them to find that they've trashed one of the bungalows and put a fish head in the bed. Ricky heads back to Neil and tells him that he's got a plan. The next day, Ricky heads over to meet with Monica, and he finds that Kyle now works for her. Ricky tells Monica that he has a message from Neil, and they want a rematch. If Neil wins, Monica has to pay off the mortgage. If Monica wins, Neil will sell for the original offer. She accepts the offer with one condition. She also wants Ricky to come back and work for minimum wage for 5 years if she wins. He accepts her offer, and he heads back to the lake to practice with what's left of the team. Back at Monica's place, she checks with Kyle about their chances of winning, and he says they can win. She's not sure about it, and she says that she'll resort to cheating instead. That night, Monica's goons sneak to the dock, and they sabotage the equipment. As Ricky finishes up his speech with the team, Wes and Howie play a trick on Victor that ends up breaking his arm, and Jennifer tells Wes off for being a bully. When it comes time for the rematch, Monica's goons start shutting down equipment for all of Ricky's team, and Monica's team takes the lead. Suddenly, Victor notices the goons in their canoe, and he asks Wes and Howie to help him for a minute. Ricky ends up getting injured and has to be brought back to shore. Neil ends up taking his place. Luckily, Victor and the guys take a boat to crash into the goons, and Neil narrows the score gap as they go into the final round. Ricky decides to do the final jump even though he's injured, and he pulls off the impossible stunt to take Lakeside to a win. Everyone celebrates, and Kelly kisses Ricky. Later, back at camp, the bus arrives as everyone says their goodbyes, and Neil has a feeling that next summer is going to be even better. And that wraps up this recap. Thanks for watching. If you've enjoyed this recap, please subscribe with notifications turned on so you don't miss a single video.